about that. As I was saying, I never was that type, and I know this ain't never say never, but I was never the type to just be like, oh, I'm jealous, oh, I hate, like, it takes too much effort to carry that shit in your heart. It really does. It takes too much time and too much effort and too much energy to sit there and to carry that type of emotion into yourself. But I noticed that I draw those type of people towards me, you know. And I know everything happened for a reason. I know that it's because the Most High wants me to learn these lessons. And I have been, and I'm grateful for it. I wouldn't change none of this shit for nothing. I don't give a fuck. But it's a lot. It's a lot. The jealousy, the envy, like, that's how it always be. Especially with these females. Now, it be the men too. You know what I'm saying? They be having that shit in their heart. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. If a man is envious and jealous of you as a woman, 9 out of 10 chances, that motherfucker like men. Because I feel like that's only some shit that a female really does, to have envy towards another female. I feel like if you're going to have that type of envy, turn that into healthy competition towards a man. But anyways, I've had too many experiences with females where they, deep down inside their heart, they have some type of envy toward me, but they don't show it. So this goes back to the 48 laws of power, where it says you have to be wary and careful of friends, because with enemies, you know what to expect from your motherfucking enemy, because you know they're an enemy. But from a friend, you don't see it coming. That's how you got so many motherfuckers is in jail and in the ground now, because they didn't see that shit coming. They didn't see that shit coming at all. Like, at all. Like, in the 48 laws of power, it basically explains that most of the time, friendships will lead to your downfall. And they used a couple of examples. So they used this king as an example, where this stable boy saved his life. And in return, he was giving him gifts and favors and power and shit. And the stable boy went from being somebody that worked in the stables to being head of the stables to, he just leveled up and gained all the power. Then he even ended up being in command of the army. It got to the point where by the time the nigga realized that this nigga wasn't his friend, his head was already on the stake. Like, his head was on the stake. And that was because he thought that this man was his friend, and he thought that he was going to be loyal to him just because he was giving him gifts and favors and shit. My bad. I was just trying to see where the fuck my kids was on the playground. But yeah, by the time he realized that this nigga was not his motherfucking friend, he had already murdered his ass. And the thing about it was, people were trying to tell him, you know what I'm saying? He even let this man get in his ear and let him execute his very uncle that got him on the throne in the first place. So basically, he was in his ear telling him all these false lies and accusations and shit for him to wipe out the real motherfuckers that really would have been there for his ass, just so he could be the one standing to gut his ass. Another example they used was Shakespeare's Othello. Now, if you know the story of Othello, you know how that shit went down. That shit was fucked up. It was his best friend that was jealous of him, but never said anything. I always played like he was down and had his best interest. And then when Othello got with his girl, and he was in love in this happy relationship, his best friend hated him for that shit, because he felt like he deserved what Othello had. And so he was able to manipulate Othello into believing that the love of his life was cheating on him and doing him dirty. And then Othello ended up losing every fucking thing. What he expected of the enemy, he didn't expect in his best friend. They used a couple of examples in the 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, a few examples. And so that shit was mind-boggling. It all came together for me. Like, this is all coming together like pieces of a puzzle to me. And I come to realize that by investing so much time and pouring so much energy and being so trusting and so loyal to friends, every time that I do that shit, I always end up getting disappointed in the end. I always end up getting hurt in the end. I always end up getting backstabbed in the end. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to have friends, because everyone can use friends. But you have to be very careful and very particular on who you call your friends and who you have around you. There was another example that they used about another king, and he had very bad breath. And so, because he had this very bad breath, you know, every time he talked, you couldn't help but to, you know, damn cat hair. Damn Harley ass, my cat. Have fur every motherfucking well. Anyways, his breath was kicking. He talked to you, that shit, whew. I'm talking about that shit knock your ass the fuck out type breath. Dragon breath, like, So one day he was somewhere and somebody just came, just was straight up with the nigga. It was like, look, your breath stink. That shit stink. You need a tic-tac, like, poosh, be gone. Your breath is too strong. Wait, come back. I found a tic-tac, like that type of shit. Like, but the motherfucker cut that shit 100. And so the king was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? He ain't tripped, but it caught him off guard. Like, damn, my breath stink for real? I ain't know. Like, I didn't know it was that bad. You know, I didn't know the nigga just, you know, back then toothbrushes wasn't really the thing, or a rotten tooth. I don't know. But the nigga shit was fucked up. And so the king goes to his motherfucking wife, the queen, and he was like, so why the hell didn't you never tell me that my breath stunk? And so she tried to make this excuse like, oh, I always thought that men's breath stank. No, bitch, no the fuck you didn't. And so I guess it was a lesson in itself to say that it'll be your friends, it'll be your family, it'll be the people that are closest to you that will not say anything to you about your flaws because they be too busy trying to be up under your good graces. They be trying not to rub you the wrong way because they really be cloaking their real intentions themselves versus your enemies or just people that aren't that close to you that's gonna keep that shit 100. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, you know, you could be walking around with, I don't know, let's say some tissue stuck to the bottom of your foot. And you go around people and they don't say nothing. Well, nah, I'm going to use this as an example. Like, you could be around people and let's say, for instance, you ran out of deodorant or some shit and you having one of those bad days, or you didn't put on enough motherfucking deodorant and you start to smell musty or some shit like that. You'll go around people that you know and friends, and a lot of times motherfuckers won't say shit. Or like, let's say you in like a bad situation or a bad relationship, or even down to clothes or shoes. You know, motherfuckers be like, oh, I like it, oh, it's nice, oh, it's cute, da 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 da. And I realize I've done that sometimes. I've realized that I have been in that position where I've had friends tell me about certain situations that they was in, and I've been on eggshells about it because I didn't want to offend them, or I didn't want them feeling some type of way, or because I knew if I did say something they wasn't going to take it in consideration anyway, so I just wouldn't really say so much about it. But I'm learning from those type of mistakes, and I'm learning that ain't some shit that you should do. You should always keep it real and keep that shit 100 with people that you consider being close. But, you know, people that feel some type of way towards you, they not going to tell you that shit. They going to work their hardest to mask themselves, to make themselves look like this person that they really not. And then they reveal their true selves to other motherfuckers behind closed doors. But then they get around you and then they want you to think that, oh, they're this particular type of person because they want to hide that envy and that jealousy in their heart. And to me, I just feel like I can't have nobody around me like that. I just can't. Because it's like, anybody that carry any animosity towards you, even for the smallest things, they're unpredictable. Meaning you don't know what the fuck that person will be capable of doing. And it be these type of people that will sit here and wait until you are in your greatest moments, where you're achieving the greatest of things in your life. And these be the same motherfuckers that will take your shit down or make your whole shit fall to pieces. Take Brutus and Julius Caesar, for instance. Brutus was Julius Caesar's best fucking friend. He was his A1. He was his ace. But he always had some type of animosity, some type of envy in his heart towards Caesar. And he didn't agree with everything Caesar did or said, but instead of him being a real ass friend and sitting down and expressing how he felt about certain things and certain situations and certain political moves that he was making, he didn't do that shit. He suppressed that shit and kept that shit in. And then he plotted and schemed because he really wanted to have what Caesar had. He wanted to be in the position that Caesar was in. So he sat there and he plotted with these other motherfuckers in the Senate, and they stabbed this man to death. And he was the first ones to stick his knife in this man. And I know it just could have been so devastating. Like, to just be in a position where this is supposed to be your best friend, this is supposed to be somebody that's loyal to you, and then you're actually seeing them stabbing you to death. Like, that's crazy. That's just like how some females be with some of these psychotic ass niggas that you done laid down with, that you done had kids with, that you done been in these deep relationships with, people that say that they loved you, and these be the same niggas that will blow your fucking head off with no problem, with no hesitation whatsoever, and you just be like, damn. But that's what happens. Like, people are so easily taken out of the game, and people are so easily, people's foundations are so easily crumbled and torn to pieces. It's because it be the motherfuckers that be closest to them. Like, you ever notice that when someone gets murdered, it usually be a motherfucker that they know that's close to them? Like, yeah, you got random murders, motherfuckers that randomly will pick you and murk your ass. But most of the murders, most of the abuse, most of the fucked up things that happen to people be from the motherfuckers that be closest to them. It be their family, it be their friends, it be their lovers, it be these motherfuckers. And that's what leads me back to that fool card. I have been a fool because I have been making these same mistakes blindly, not realizing that what I was doing was punishment, not only for myself but my kids. I've been in situations where I have allowed myself to be around people that had envy and jealousy in their hearts toward me, that have had me in situations that were fucked up, that had my kids in fucked up situations. And me blindly thinking that because they're my kids and no one would look at them a type of way because they're kids. No, bitch, they're my kids. If motherfuckers don't like me, they not gonna like my fucking kids. You know what I'm saying? But see, I didn't think about it like that. And I've had not only just me in some fucked up situations, but I've had my kids in some fucked up situations that just didn't end well for neither one of us. And you know, like, like, that's why I'm in this situation where I'm strictly in hermit mode. Excuse me. Bless me. Lord, pollen. I'm strictly in hermit mode. Like, on some real deal shit. Like, I'm in fucking hermit mode. All of that trying to be around folk, being friends, hanging out, all this other shit, I'm over it. I'm not with the shit. I'm not with that shit at all. Lord, my allergies. But that's all I got to say on that. Stay tuned.